Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bellefonte Borough, work session. No council action, making motions or approvals is taken during the work session. Prior to the work session, we had executive sessions relating to personnel and real estate from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. tonight. Our items for discussion: our 2026 budget, the general fund. Ms. McGowan.
Hello, welcome back. Yes, the general fund, this is the big one. Same things that we've talked about. We have put in the raises that are in the contracts. We've increased the electricity. This includes all the ABC, I think that's what they call them, offices, codes, planning, zoning, general fund, streets, police, all the administration. So we talked before about Matt had put in for half an employee for refuse, the other half of that employee is in streets. There's some leases for the police department, a couple of them. The taser and the radio are done in 26. The police vehicle has another year after that in 27. Nothing really exciting in here. So I did make some assumptions. I made some assumptions around the borough manager position. I don't know that my assumptions are right, but I had to go with something, so I assumed an interim manager through March, and then having a borough manager. That may not be right, but I had to go with something. So I did that. One thing I want to point out is that the parking revenues are going down. I have been tracking them, and they're definitely going down each year to the point that like we're not predicting very much in parking fine revenue for next year. So I wanted to point that out. And then Matt had his street department, garage, and electrician budget attached. We talked the last time about closing the 301 North Spring Street and putting it in this fund. We did that, and Matt also has a list, and I apologize, I forgot to put it in the packet, it's at the table, for the things that need to be done in this building. So that's kind of a quick down and dirty, and since there's a lot of numbers here, I thought I'd let you guys ask some questions.
One thing to note, if I can, is that there was a good comment made at the authority meeting by John Eaton that our utility costs, which include the increase based on the contract recently awarded, may not be accurate because we were doubling our 2025 utility expenses, but that included a doubling essentially of the distribution side of your utility bill, which has not thankfully doubled. So we really actually need to do a little bit more work on our utility expenses across the general fund. We anticipate rather than 100% increase, we may be looking at more of a 75% increase in that line item. So that'll improve things a bit. We do have some numbers from our broker. We just have to translate them from the data that they provided into our account structure.
One thing I did forget to mention is that this is not a balanced budget. However, Dave and I sat down today to try to brainstorm a little bit. We've come up with a couple of things. We always say that we're going to have a shortfall, and 99% of the time we don't have a shortfall. It's the good way to budget. You budget your expenses high, your revenues low. So Dave and I talked, and we're comfortable with letting that shortfall be there and making sure that we have enough revenue and our expenses are low enough for next year to cover that. We can use some fund balance and cover it without a problem, but that's up to you.
Lori, in the revenue section, line 399.001, you've got two lines with the same number. The second one says use of reserves parking, and you've budgeted $162,000. Is that for a specific project?
No, the parking fund actually has a really healthy fund balance. So I felt comfortable taking the $162,000 in expenses that are in here for the parking and using that fund balance to cover it.
Okay, so you're just transferring our surplus to the general fund.
It's already there.
Okay.
We're just telling you that we have the money to cover that very comfortably.
Okay, thank you. I think the other thing was that local services tax has dropped approximately $50,000 in the last couple of years. That reflects about 100 jobs. Is that all from Centercrest?
I don't know what it's from. I just know that it is going down. That's another thing that's tracking down. That and the earned income tax has been going down.
Okay, because that indicates that we're losing employees in the borough. Okay, thank you.
Would that be because of an aging population?
It could be.
Yes, I think that's one of the driving factors is as more working individuals retire, certainly they're not going to pay that LST, but I believe as was just indicated, if there's any changes in our employment base, that also has an effect.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions on the revenue side, 6 questions on the expense side. How do you want me to do this?
Just tell us what line item it is and we'll go from there.
Okay, on the revenue side, line 357.030, municipal grant revenue from the county. Why is this zeroed out in 2026 and we had 50,000 this year?
So that's a grant that we apply for from the county, and Dave did apply for that, but we have not heard if we've gotten it, so.
Essentially,
We haven't applied, but we haven't gotten it. I can't have a problem with it.
yeah, can I just pick that one up? The reason that's zeroed out at the moment is because we're waiting on the announcement from Center County. We anticipate that being done in December, especially now that there's, a state budget that we can rely on, but, presently that's an uncertain, award. We applied for $100,000, to offset the cost of the Parkview Zion traffic signal improvements. So if we are able to get positive news of an award, we would increase that revenue line to match whatever the award is, and then there would be an offsetting expenditure to apply toward the construction of that signalized intersection.
Okay, so that kind of answers the question I had with the expenditures for the Parkview Heights traffic light. Right now, it's zeroed out, and that will go back in if we get this grant, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So those should put flags before we finalize the budget.
Yes.
If we get news of an award, I think the only thing that might change that is if there's no announcement made by the time the budget needs to be adopted, in which case we could, consider an amendment if we receive good news on an award.
Okay. Second revenue, okay.
No, there was nobody. Go ahead, you're okay.
Okay, line 361, 332, application fee. In both 2024 and 25, we received $400. Why was there an out in 2026?
That one is, it's an up in the air if anybody applies for a variance. And since I don't have a crystal ball that works very well, I don't know that we're gonna get any money, anybody that applies for a variance.
Okay. Okay, there's a line 362.160 says task force revenue. What does this line refer to?
The police can volunteer to work on the task force. It depends on if they want to volunteer. If they do volunteer, then we get reimbursed for that.
That's the DUI task force. It's a county-wide driving under the influence enforcement detail that is reimbursed by Center County.
Okay. The final one on revenue is the North Spring Street rental. Why are we increasing rental revenues in 2026? We have a full house with leases. Shouldn't they still be paying the same amount?
We don't have a full house with the leases. Dirk and Edson gave up a space. They had increased to another space that's right beside theirs, and then they decided they didn't want it, so their rent went down. And that space is still open, there's nobody in it.
Yeah, I don't understand what you said. Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, am I coming through maybe more clear? I don't want, I think what Lori said was that Dirk and Edson, one of our occupants, gave up some of their leased space. So right now, it's not the same number of tenants or number of square footage, amount of square footage that was leased in 2020, the early part of 2025. We would like to, though, do a couple of things. One, maybe be a little bit more aggressive in marketing some of the space in the building that's available for lease. I think we have a sign that's out front now, but perhaps there's an opportunity for us to work with a local realtor and get a good tenant for that unused space. And also, we can look at our lease revenue, which has not been raised in a couple of years, I believe. Is that the right price point for our tenants right now to be paying us, given our operational and capital needs for the building? Or should we be looking at raising rent for some of those occupants in order to be more reflective of what our true costs are?
That's all very helpful, thank you. Regarding expenses, we have used membership fees without, as I understand the budget. If there's one fee or one expense that goes across different parts of the budget, you always split this out across several line items, but they basically the same line, is that correct?
It's not so much that they're spread out, it's that the first three numbers designate the department, like 400 is council, 406 is general government, 410 is police, but then the last three indicate like what it actually is. So it stays the same across every department. So, but it's not necessarily that you have the same exact expense, like what's in council's dues memberships is going to be different than what's in streets dues and memberships.
So, for example, we're a member of PSAD, and members of it include the mayor, the council, the executive branch, but it doesn't include the police, is that correct?
I think if they had most of it is that it's training that we would do, so they may have training opportunities within that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Obviously, that's a
So the actual purchase of a computer would go under minor equipment, which ends in 260.
So I know that and look at that later. Thank you. Down in the police section, lines 410, 126 through 410, 162 are all for reimbursement and show up as negative numbers. Since these are reimbursements and not payouts, why aren't they not listed as revenue?
That's a good question. That's where I would categorize them. I think historically, we put them in that account, sub-account, as a negative expenditure. But if you're asking my opinion, they probably should show up as revenue. I think, if I can presume, the intent was likely to make sure that the reimbursement was attributed to the same cost center. While there's nothing inherently wrong with doing that, it's not typically what you would see for those reimbursement categories. You would see them show up as a revenue line.
I think to me that would make no sense, just FYI. And okay, and the final question is something we're looking at with our council this evening. It's on other expenses, line 452.530, we have a request for the Municipal Recreation Authority for additional funds. And it has no credit request been added to the budget, or will that only happen after we make a decision whether we'll give the funds this evening?
Yes, I think the latter part. We would want to have some direction from council, not only about how much additional, if any, you would be agreeing to contribute to that project, but also over what period of time and which fund you'd like to see those monies taken out of. So whether it's, a capital fund, or whether it's the proverbial bulk water fund or some other source of revenue, that would be something that we would be interested in getting your guidance on this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else
I have
on
a
council
question.
have questions? Mr. John?
Yes, replace steps and knee wall for the Armory Building, Spring Street, with colored concrete steps and walls. We're talking about the entry here, right, Matt?
Yes, Doug, I just
So-
wanted, good.
Keeping in the integrity of the building, I don't think poured concrete steps is a great idea. So I don't know what it's gonna cost to repair what's existing there, but if you want to keep the integrity of this building with the granite steps, I would not like to see colored concrete steps poured out there.
Yeah, Doug, just to reiterate on that, I just wanted to put some money in there because we know the steps are not in very good shape. So I've not been able to get a contractor to give me a price to replace them or repair them or rehab them. So I just wanted to put some money in there, just to give us some flexibility. I just haven't been able to get anything in time for the meeting.
I'll jump in here.
Mr. Brackville?
On Wednesday, Matt, we're going to be out front looking at those steps again. Or actually, no, we're going to be here doing speakers. But anyway, on those front steps, we looked at that last week, and their cost is $650 to just do a temporary fix. And then next spring, try to get them.
Yeah,
keep
Doug did
everything
mention
the
that.
same.
Yeah, he did mention that. Obviously, we gotta look long-term because obviously, like I said, the knee walls are starting to move away from the steps. You know, it's gonna fail in the next few years. We just have to be prepared for it.
The steps are more for me, better, to keep the steps than the sidewalls. You can always do something else with the sidewalls.
Yeah, it's all gonna collapse. I mean, obviously, the sidewalls are starting to separate from the stairs the way they are now. I'm just trying to be preventive so we understand that there's some expenses coming. Not necessarily saying we had to do concrete, it was just throwing an option there in the event that they want $30,000 to, rehab what's there. So just trying to give you options, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
So that's, I'm just asking the question, that's the same when I look at the replacement of the door of the Armory Building, Lamb Street and Spring Street. This council is fine with replacing those wooden doors with more modern doors. That's what I'm reading here. Is that what we want to do as council?
I wasn't aware that this was even under consideration.
Well,
I mean,
if you
it's
look
on-
at this general fund, $9,500 replace door on Armory Building, Spring Street side. $9,000 replace the door, Armory Building, Lamb Street side.
Right,
So-
I see that, I just don't understand why we're doing it or even thinking about doing it.
I don't know either, that's why I'm asking the question.
Matt, you have some explanation underneath that. If you want to go ahead on that, please.
Absolutely. Basically, I just put some numbers in there, something I worked on this spring. These wooden doors are very cumbersome, require a lot of maintenance. The one Lamb Street especially, when the sun's out in the summertime, it won't even shut for days. So basically, I just took it upon myself to see if there was any other options. I reached out to anybody locally that I could find that would maybe refinish the doors, didn't have any luck, tried Amish contractors, nobody was interested in doing it. I reached out to another contractor about the possibility of getting a fiberglass door that, with the wood look to it. He was unable to do anything with what's there, just being the size and the shape of the doorway. So at that point, I just looked at another option, which was to have a traditional aluminum frame door like we have on the old building, but obviously it would have an archway to it, a glass window at the top, and it would be much lighter and easier for an elderly person to open, maneuver. Those doors are very cumbersome in my eyes for a commercial building. I'm not crazy about them because of the maintenance involved with trying to keep them maintained, and so I just put it in there. It's just a wish thing. Like I said, it's really up to you guys what you want to do. I just, in my eyes, from a maintenance perspective and long-term commercial building, those doors are tough to really tolerate. So that's all the reason they're in there. So it's
Thank you,
really-
Matt.
Really up to you guys, yeah.
I assume that it would have to,
I'd like to make a comment on that.
Sure.
Since this is in the historic district, whatever we do to change those doors, it has to go through the park.
Certainly, absolutely. And like I said, this is just, I was just trying to put some money in there for an idea, because like I said, when we're over here spending days sanding doors, trying to get them to open and close, it always happens the most inopportune time. I'm just looking for long-term, if we're gonna be in this building the next 50, 60 years, it'd be nice to have a doors that we don't have to mess with continually, so. Don't get me wrong, I like the doors, they're amazing, but from a maintenance perspective, I'm not crazy about them.
any other comments on the doors
No, thanks, Matt, I appreciate it.
Yes, Doug, you're welcome.
or anything else on this particular paper? Anybody have questions or comments for Lori or Matt? What would you like to do next, Ms. McGowan?
That's what I have prepared for this time, because it's such a large fund that,
It is.
We did include in there, I know it's kind of sideways if you're looking at it digitally, but just a breakdown of how the sinking fund concept would appear in the budget as opposed to having the 301 North Spring Street governmental fund. So you'll see, kind of essentially a ledger of credits and debits that would be applied to that sinking fund on an annual basis, depending on what the operational and capital repair needs would be. The way that would be represented in the budget is individual line items on the expense category under the sub-account 409. That's your building account. And then at the end of each year, you'll see hopefully a balance that would reflect how much is left in that sinking fund, and you would encumber that fund balance. So you would, because it'd be in the general fund, it'd be general fund balance, but you would restrict it to only be able to be used for the, for the Spring Street building improvements and operational expenses. Operationally, it makes it a little bit easier for us to maneuver, for Lori to be able to, pay expenses rather than having to deal with interfund transfers. I think it's a cleaner way to approach it. There's nothing wrong with doing it the way it's historically been done, but this makes it a little bit easier from a staff perspective to be able to manage that, and still gives council and the public the ability to see at a glance how much is left in that sinking fund and how much it's, kind of accrued over time.
Joanne had a question on the Zoom.
The question is, do we have a millage change estimate yet? The budget is not proposing any changes in real estate millage. As Lori indicated at the beginning of the presentation, it's just an imbalanced budget. I would call it a structurally imbalanced budget, meaning that the excess of expenditures over revenue are largely operational in nature. Now, there are some new staff, but only probably the equivalent of 1.5 full-time equivalent positions. So, this is something I think that council and staff has to be vigilant of going forward. If there are things you'd want to do on the revenue side, with respect to any millage changes, that's something we could work in. What we're proposing, at least in the draft, is that you apply unrestricted fund balance to cover the deficit. You'll see, looking in years past, having a deficit budgeted is not unusual, and also being able to beat those estimates throughout the fiscal year through operational efficiencies, deferred expenditures where able to be done, more than not makes up for that deficit, and in years past has resulted in a surplus when a budget has been budgeted, or a deficit has been budgeted, excuse me. So you can do something with the revenue side of the ledger if you so desire, but we're not proposing that in the draft.
So that can be discussed next time, is that correct? Okay, thank you. Matt, I have a question under the streets department. I see that there are ADA ramps that need replaced. Is that just general replacement that you do, or are there specific places that are going to need?
Basically, just general replacement.
Okay.
Sometimes we get into a project and we got to redo one. Sometimes it's beyond our technical ability on some of them, so we contract those out. Yeah, there's probably going to be a few that get thrown in next year with the paving project on Lynn Street. We have identified a few that we're going to try to take care of prior to that pavement project being done. So I just like to have some money in there just when we come across them,
Okay, thank you.
Hmm?
Does council have other questions on the budget? Do you have anything else to add?
I do not. I'm happy to answer any more questions if you have any, but I think we covered a lot.
We did. How about we give it a few more minutes for everybody that's looking to see if we have any other questions?
Not a problem.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
David and I had a conversation, I think it was at the authority meeting. We had $777,000 somewhere. Where is that?
That's in our streets fund. That's fund balance.
No, that's in the capital project.
Oh, I'm sorry, I knew it was
Yeah.
one of the two.
The
Capital project.
project.
Matt's
Fund
wishing
balance and
that was
capital
in
projects.
streets.
Yeah. So there's some things that Matt did ask for, that we did put into the capital projects fund, because there's money in there that's dedicated for the street department, so, I'll
For the,
have
what?
that
For
the
what
next-
department?
For the street department.
Street department? Does that include the traffic light? Is that street department? No?
The signal at
Yeah,
Parkview is
traffic
on.
signal, Parkview and Bishop.
This is funds that council has chosen over, it's been, I don't know, it's been a while, probably 8 or 10 years at least, that they wanted restricted. Some of it was for paving and some of it was for the street department. Obviously, with using some of that money in the capital projects fund to cover some of the expenses, we didn't transfer that over this year in this budget, but it is set aside. I don't know if this traffic light can be considered street department or not.
Certainly could be, if that's where you wanted to apply the difference of what we hope to get with the Center County Liquid Fuels Grant and the remainder of the cost of that signalized intersection. Roughly, that would be about 200,000. So if we get the 100,000 from liquid fuels, if not, then we're talking about 300,000.
So that account is not seen on here?
Correct.
On what we have
That's a
tonight?
different
That's correct.
fund. We'll have it next time.
Yep.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Matt, did we budget for lights on the bridge in Talleyrand Park as we had previously discussed?
Yes, we have, Mayor, yes, we have.
Thank you.
Yep, I put budget in there for some solar lights, but yes, we do have money in there for that. Hopefully next year we can get that done.
Thank you.
Yep.
Council, are you still looking, or would you like to take recess? Done? Are you done, Randy? Are you done? I don't want to rush you if you still are looking. Doug, is there anything else? How about you, Joanna? Okay, that is it for our work session. Can I have a motion and a second to adjourn? Was there a first? I was gonna say, I didn't hear anything. Did you second it? Oh, maybe you did, I don't know. Anyways, thank you. All in favor, say aye. We will reconvene at 7:30 for the Borough Council business meeting. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bellefonte Borough Council Business Meeting. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ms. Clayton, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier. Here. Mr. Brackbill.
Here.
Ms. Clayton. Here. Ms. Dan.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. McKean.
Here.
Ms. Purnell.
Here.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Here.
Ms. Tosti Vasey is here.
Here.
Ms. Meckley.
Here.
And Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Additions to the council meeting agenda. Under Act 65 of 2021, if a matter is not on the agenda, council may not take official action on it with the following exceptions. Council can act on matters relating to potential or real emergencies. Council may add a matter of agency business to its agenda through a majority vote. The council must state why the action item is being added to the agenda. Does anyone on council have anything to add this evening? Public comment. Borough Council intends to take public comment related to the motion that is on the floor after it has been duly made and seconded. The order of comments will be public comment and then council comment, including proposed amendments by council members. If amendments are proposed to the original motion, the public will then only comment on the amendment before final votes are taken. You must be a Bellefonte resident, a nonprofit representative, a business owner, or an official representative of another governmental agency. Speakers shall identify themselves by name and street, municipality, if outside the borough of Bellefonte. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Under communications tonight, all these are in your packet. I just wanted to bring to your attention that we received, I think, 6 or 7 in support of not demolishing the farmhouse. One was from G.T. Thompson, who is our representative to U.S. Congress. I just wanted to thank people for sending in and caring about our community. Jessica Miller sent one, Jake Hoover, Mike Empoorman sent one in also. So I want to thank them for sending those in and giving us some more information on some of our decisions tonight. Next is our consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and will be acted upon by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of council request specific items to be removed for separate action. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, please? Thank you, Shauna.
I'll second it,
Thank you. Under our reports from elected officials and staff. Oh, yeah, we could vote on that, yes. Please do.
Mr. Bernier. Yes. Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton. Yes. Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. McKean.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, you do have a proclamation for this evening.
Yes, thank you. A small business Saturday proclamation. Whereas the Borough of Bellefonte recognizes the vital contributions of small business to the strength of our local economy and the unique character of our community. And whereas small businesses employ a significant portion of Pennsylvania's workforce, create local jobs, and reinvest in our neighborhoods through civic engagement, charitable giving, and community service. And whereas Small Businesses Saturday was founded in 2010 to encourage holiday shoppers to support local, independently owned businesses. And whereas the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and communities across the state join together each year to celebrate Small Business Saturday as part of the nationwide effort to support small businesses during the holiday season. And whereas Bellefonte's small businesses, including retailers, restaurants, service providers, and entrepreneurs, play an essential role in maintaining a vibrant downtown and a thriving local economy. And whereas consumer spending at local businesses helps sustain jobs, stimulate economic growth, and strengthen the fabric of our community. And whereas supporting local small businesses on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year enhances the quality of life for all residents of the Bellefonte Borough. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Borough Council of Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, does hereby recognize Saturday, November 29th, 2025, as Small Business Saturday, and urges residents, visitors, and the greater community to support local businesses and merchants throughout the holiday season and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have our police report in the packet. Chief, would you like to add to that, please?
Thank you. Hopefully everyone had a chance to review my report. I apologize for not having some of the numbers in there this month. Lori was just a little bit busy. You see we're kind of busy with quite a few incidents this month. Halloween was last month, a lot of PR events. Our officers got quite a bit of training as well. I'd also like to thank Center County Commissioners, Dave Lomas, and everyone else involved with the assistance with the purchase of our newest police vehicle. Greatly appreciated. Does anyone have any questions for me? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Parking report is also in your packet. Next, the Office of Community Affairs. Gina.
Good evening, Council. There are just two action items from my report, both related to the Planning Commission. The first one is a motion and the second to approve the subdivision project that Planning Commission reviewed at the meeting last week. It's the subdivision of the tax parcel 32-301-300. It is the portion of the rail trail, I'm sorry, not the rail trail, sorry, the rail line that CEDACOG currently owns. It's being subdivided so that the borough then can go ahead and purchase that. And this is approved contingent upon revising plans from the county review that was done.
Can we just go ahead and do that one now?
Yes. Yeah.
Could I have a motion and a second to approve the Planning Commission's recommendation to approve the subdivision of tax parcel 32-301-300, CEDACOG Joint Rail Authority, contingent upon revising the plan in accordance with the review comments from the County Planning Office?
So move, Brackbill.
Thank you, Randy and Joanne. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier? Yes. Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti-Vasey?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Council. The second item is we'd like to welcome back, if you folks know her, Jean Gerber. She was a resident of the borough, moved away, and she has moved back. She would like to be on the Planning Commission, and Planning Commission approved her appointment at their meeting on Monday, and then they're just looking for an approval from council. She actually has been on council in her previous life, and she's really excited to work with the borough again in this capacity. So,
Thank you, Gina. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the appointment of Jean Gerber to the Planning Commission?
I'll make that motion, Johnson.
Thank you. She will fill the vacancy created by Chris Morelli's moving away. Her term will expire 12/31/26. Okay, is there any discussion? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier? Yes. Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey?
Yes,
Thank you.
Gina, did you want to announce your next meetings?
yes, there is a Nittany Valley Joint Planning Commission meeting that will meet this Thursday, November 20th at 6 p.m. at the Benner Township Building. And then I did want to note, I had in my packet that we have a hard meeting scheduled for Tuesday, November 25th, but that meeting will be canceled as there are no formal projects for harbor review. And then the next scheduled Planning Commission meeting is Monday, December 8th at 5 p.m. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. We also have Mr. Pabalka's report in your packet. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, ma'am. Thank you. Just to call to attention to one item in my report. We welcomed a few new hires to the borough recently. Just want to welcome them to our team here. Brandon Eckenroth started as our part-time code enforcement official. In the police department, we had Jessica Jurgovich, I believe I'm pronouncing that name correctly. She began her employment as our administrative assistant in the department. Austin Cable started working for the Public Works Department as our newest mechanic. And we also had a candidate accept a position to fill the operator vacancy in the wastewater treatment plant. So we are getting back to full strength, and unfortunately, I'm no longer the new guy in the borough, so just wanted to welcome them. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Great, thank you. That's great news. We will move on to committee reports. First, we have Environmental and Parks Committee and the Ordinance Ad Hoc Committee. Ms. Tosti Vasey.
we met actually last Thursday, November 12th, after the packets were due in, after the reports were due into the office for reports tonight. So I will have the report from that meeting and in December 1st, 15th.
Okay, thank you. Finance and Administration, Ms. Cleaton.
Okay, I have a couple of additions to my report that is in your packet. First, I inadvertently left Joanne off the list of people who attended. She was there. Also, the committee did discuss the suggested signage in Talleyrand about not sitting or standing or hanging over the wall. We are not recommending additional signage at this time. Dave did check with the borough solicitor, and there is no liability involved here. The Finance and Administration Committee will meet tomorrow evening at 5:30.
Thank you. Mr. Brackbill, Infrastructure and Public Works.
I'm probably going to regress here for a little bit. I have a motion and second to approve the recommendation from the committee to accept the added language on the signage ordinance. If passed, a motion and second for council approval will be listed under old business. Under Public Works, the committee discussed additional safety signage to be placed on the stone wall between Veterans Bridge and the walking bridge. The safety signs to be placed so that they are visible facing Talleyrand Park. We requested Matt Allman to research the sign language needed, as well as the width and the height of the signs. As there are no current safety signs indicating a dangerous situation, this needs to be completed ASAP. Next would be a motion and second to recommend to council for approval to have Mr. Almond determine how many safety signs are needed and appropriate for the safe signs being attached on the wall, looking toward Talleyrand. Next was council chambers. We have some sound issues. As you can hear the echo in here. Some of the areas are hard to hear for people at the council table and even in the audience. Addressing the speakers that are up along the ceiling are going to be lowered from down to about where the exit sign height is. We'll be meeting with a couple gentlemen on Wednesday this week. It'll be myself, Doug Johnson, Chiz Ryder, and Tom Helslett. We'll be reviewing the speakers' height and wiring to get that situation taken care of. And then the other thing I had on this was, hid it from myself. We had some issues out on the front steps. They're kind of coming apart from each other. And so we had Gary Horner over here last week, took a look at it. He gave us an estimate of $650 to make a repair until next spring, where we can finish fixing the whole front steps up. And that's my report.
Thank you, Randy. Streets Committee, Mr. Johnson.
Streets met Wednesday, November 12th. Rita Purnell, Deb Cleet, myself, Dave Pravolka, and Barbara Dan. I have a list of items. Streetlights have been repaired or reported to West Bend Power. Buddy, those were the issues you brought up. David and Matt Almond took care of that. If they're not fixed, they're on the list to be fixed, because what happens, West Bend accumulates so many to do at one time in say, the borough. But I'm pretty sure, Matt, are you still here? I can't see it.
He's left.
The one at School Street, I believe, School and High, or what, School and Bishop. Yeah, that one, I believe, is repaired. I'm not sure which ones were repaired, but they're going to be.
Thank you.
Yeah. Our interim manager, Dave Pravolka, suggested that we take a look at a street, and you may be able to describe this better, the maintenance program of the streets. Would you mind describing that just a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. One of the things the committee discussed was potentially working with a firm that might be able to conduct an evaluation of the street network in the borough and assign condition indexes to the street. What this would do for council is give you a sense of the current condition of the roadways, and so you can be better informed for your development of your capital improvement and replacement plans for that street network based on their predicted degradation.
Thank you, Dave. And so Dave's going to take a closer look at that and present it to the Streets Committee probably in January or February. Parkview Heights, Shady Lane, and the Oak Street gate. The owners of the property came in. We had a discussion. Matt and David will meet with the landowners to resolve this gate issue. A couple options: raise the gate that it'll operate correctly, move the gate back a little bit. And that's going to be decided between Matt and David and the landowner. Jump in here anytime if that's not accurate.
We do have a meeting scheduled along with the borough's stormwater engineer to evaluate.
Yes, so Don Francis will be out there as well, I believe, to consider some options to correct that problem. Crosswalk at West High Street and Water Street. The pedestrian crosswalk signal is set up on what Matt calls a loop until repairs are completed. Matt has notified the signal company for the repair. I'm not sure if it's been totally repaired or still in the loop at this time. I did see some people in the box the other day, but I didn't stop and check it. A recommendation from Matt Almond, South Spring Street and Manchester Lane. It's been suggested to add no parking on the left side of that lane because when the refuse truck makes the turn from Spring Street, it's very dangerous with cars parked there. So the Streets Committee supported that suggestion. Paint a yellow curb at the top of Pine Street and Stony Batter for an additional no parking enforcement indicator. Chief, I talked to you a little bit about that a week or so ago. You're aware of that. So. And Matt said he'd squeeze that in as soon as if he could. It'll be a hand paint job instead of the spray paint. The committee had, probably from me, questions on funding the new traffic signal at the corner of East Bishop Street and Parkview Boulevard. It was mentioned we had a large sum of money, $777,000. But we need to confirm that funding source, and we need to take a look at the liquid fuels allotment that we'll get this year. Still have the rectangular rapid flashing beacons as a possible safety addition to the downtown diamond crosswalks for pedestrian safety. These are the lights that you may see happening in other cities. State College Borough has several. You push the button, it enunciates a flashing white strobe light at the crosswalks, and it gives the drivers a signal that somebody's crossing in the sidewalk. We're trying to find some funds, grant funds for that project, maybe next year. No meeting is scheduled for December. The next meeting, presumably, I won't be chair at that time. I should be taking over as president of the council. Should be Tuesday, January 13th at 4 p.m. In the Oak Room. That completes my report.
Thank you very much. Next committee report, Public Transport Task Force Committee. Joanne, is that you?
Yes.
Thank you.
We met on October 28th, and we had Dave Wilson from the Center County Office of Transportation, Greg Couch from the CCMPO that came in. We spent the first half of the meeting getting a report that you have in your packet about the usage of the rideshare program that the county provides from July 1st. We are well within our budget for the year, and so we are recommending on the general budget to maintain the $35,000 that we have in the budget for 2025 going from 2026. We then moved over to talking about a supplemental transit planning funds that Greg Couch has told us about that can help to create a long-term transit development plan. Dave Volkman, Deb, and I will be meeting Wednesday morning to create a needs and purpose statement, scope, schedule, and budget for this supplemental transit planning fund. We need all of it. We'll be working on the starting on Wednesday and going through March or April when Greg told us we needed to have that material all put together so we can start the application that's due in November of next year. So there's no funding in the budget for 2026, but there will be some additional funds requested in 2027. Meanwhile, we're going to go ask to other communities and businesses that we think might benefit from having public transit in our area. We're not meeting this month because of the holiday, and we moved the December meeting to the week before Christmas rather than Christmas Day. That is our report.
Thank you, Joanne. We'll move on to liaison reports. Doug, I didn't see anything on yours for the authority of the airport. Did you have anything you wanted to?
I do.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but
You
if you
can
have
put me on
something.
the spot anytime you
Oh,
want.
good, okay.
We
Good to
did
know.
meet, the authority met, was that Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday 10th, I believe it was, or
2
the
days.
day after Veterans Day, or
The 12th.
the 12th. So the first thing, we have a budget shortfall of about $826,000, as I understand it. So that, we didn't take any action on that yet. We plan to do that at the December meeting. We have a price quote from a supplier, ALOO, for a new spring cover for $190,000. So we asked Matt Alman at the meeting to provide us with a sample of that new cover. This new cover will be a floating cover. The one before the existing one had some wires underneath it that supported the cover. The cover that exists on it now does not have that wiring support under it. So we wanted to go back to a cover that would have some support underneath it. So this new vendor is supplying or suggesting a cover that has a flotation device or material in between two fabrics. We have not seen the sample yet, but that is supposed to be at our December meeting. And what that does is takes the stress off of the cover when it's on the surface of the spring, so it should last a little longer. This one is predicted to last between 25 and 30 years. We are supposed to meet with Niagara Bottling Company, and we're going to ask, like they have done in the past, for some support in funding the new cover. We've been unsuccessful contacting the director at Niagara for the last month, when we continue to try to make contact with him. Our interim borough manager suggested that we take a look at NLC. It's a service line warranty program. I don't, you want to say a little bit more about that, if you don't mind?
Sure. So the Service Line Warranty Program through the National League of Cities provides an optional coverage for homeowners to opt into at a low cost that would provide some protection for any damage that's done or losses sustained by the service line laterals for sewer and water to their homes, as well as any protection for appliances inside the dwelling unit itself. These are typically exclusions from the standard homeowners insurance policy, and these are in pieces of infrastructure that are not covered or that are not replaced by the borough authority itself. So it's an additional optional coverage for our residents to consider if they find value in it.
Great, thanks, David. And lastly, we are meeting with Weber Fox this Friday at 1 p.m. via Zoom. Weber Fox did the landscaping for the waterfront project. So we are having a look at, since we're putting another cover on the spring, we're going to do some additional landscaping that probably will hide most of the cover and will enhance the area around the spring. So that initial meeting took place in September. We signed a contract on November 5th for them to give us a rendering. We were expecting that rendering in December, but they're delaying that until January. That ends my report.
Thank you, Doug. Center County Library, Ms. Cleaton.
I have nothing to add to the minutes that are in your packet.
Thank you. And Mr. Brackbill, do you have anything, it's in the packet, Center Region Council of Government, Public Safety Committee. Do you have something there too?
No, I don't have anything to report. I was at the last meeting we had for health, safety on Wednesday. Other than that, that was it.
Okay, thank you. And any other reports that I missed that anybody wants to?
I don't have an MPO report. We meet on November 25th. I have a summary of the report of the meeting on September 17th, but I don't want to bore you with the facts of that one for tonight. And as Gina said, we have a Nittany Valley Planning Commission meeting on the, the 20th at 6 p.m., and that's at the Benner Township Building.
Okay, thank you. Under current and old business, first, the Nittany Valley Joint Recreation Authority match request. Cindy Coons is here tonight. Cindy, would you like to come up and talk to us?
I'm learning. So it feels like it was just yesterday. I was before council with the chair of the Nittany Valley Joint Rec Authority, and that's Mike Musser, who is with me again tonight. So when we presented to you in October, I think it was October 20th to be exact, we presented an overview of where the Nittany Valley Joint Rec Authority is in terms of securing funds to refurbish Kepler Pool. At that time, we had indicated that we'd received a grant for $1.475 million. That grant is through DCNR. It's passed through money from the National Park Service Land and Water Conservation Fund, and it's labeled as the C2P2 grant program through the state. So we're pleased to get that. That requires a dollar-for-dollar match. We have secured, as of the writing of the letter in your packet, $1,077,171 towards that match. So that meant we were approximately $398,000 short. And so when we presented to council in October, we didn't come forward with a match or with a request, but you gave us a couple of things to think about. And so we went back to our meetings and we brainstormed a little bit more. And we thought that the best approach would be to go to each municipality and ask them to share with us in the match, in the gap for the match, so the gap of the $398,000, according to how the fair share agreement for the pool is set up. And that's set up based on population for each township. So for Bellefonte Borough, based on a 2020 population of 6,105 residents, the dollar-for-dollar match on that, now let me see, I am not clear on my facts. So yeah, 2020 population, $6,105, so it's 26% of the share of the match that is required, and that's $103,650. So what we're asking each municipality for is to make a pledge over a 2 to 3 year period to the authority to help us cover the gap to be reduced by any additional grants that we are able to secure between now and the end of the contract period for phase one. I'll remind you that phase one of the project is $2.9 million. And so also since then, we have met with Benner Township, Spring Township, and Walker Township, and we have commitments from Benner Township in the amount of $79,731. We have commitments towards that gap from Spring Township, $135,542, and we have a request to Walker Township in the amount of $79,731. And so we're hoping for 100% support from the municipalities that support the authority. We are hoping to continue to bring in more grants. We do have 2 active grant applications in play right now. One is to the PADCED local share account in the amount of $317,314, and another one to the Neighborhood Assistance Program for $5,000. So I think you can see that if we're successful in securing those grants, the pledge for the municipalities is significantly reduced, significantly. And so, I must say to you that this request can be defined as somewhat undefined or uncertain, but it's the best we know it at this time. We've done our very best to bring resources to the table. The reason why the timing on this is so critical is because we have 2 grants that expire in 2026, one on June 30th and one on September 30th, and we risk losing those if we are unable to meet this match and get that project started. So we'll leave it open to council for any questions that you might have, unless, Mike, have I missed anything? Okay.
Thanks. Cindy, if it's all approved, when would shovels be in the ground? In the springtime of '26? Is that, no?
If it's all approved just as quickly as possible, this has been such a long time coming, and it would be the best Christmas present ever, right? So what has to happen is, as soon as we can close the gap on the match, we sign off on the contract. We have been unable to do that at this time because that gap exists. And we don't currently have an active line of credit, which we need to secure. The other part of that is that, so as soon as we can close the gap on the match, we'll sign the contract. We understand from the state that it takes between 30 and 60 days to get that fully executed. As soon as that's executed, then, and in the meantime, we continue to work on our bid documents, but they also have to be reviewed by the state and approved before it can go out for bid. So, we're hoping at least by early winter, early new year, I'll say, that we can get the project on the street for bid.
Great, thank you very much. And thank you and Mike and the committee for all the hard work you've done on this. I know it's been very stressful for all of you. So thanks for your due diligence.
Other questions for Cindy from council?
I have a couple questions.
Is there something that we can do to help? It says here that the council may take action. There's something specifically that the Bellefonte Borough Council can help you with to get this done?
Yeah, so our request tonight is that Bellefonte Borough Council make a pledge to the authority in the amount of $103,650 to be paid over a 3-year period till the close of the end of the grant period. So the grant ends June 30th, 2028. So we have until that time to really secure and close the gap on the match. The pledge doesn't necessarily mean that funds will transfer. What we're requesting is that council set aside money in an account within your budget, and then we draw on them as needed, sort of as a last resort. Again, if we secure these other grants and a couple of others that we've identified that we plan to apply for over the next year, then that closes the pledge that each one of the that reduces the pledge that each one of the municipalities make. Yeah, so that's the action item that we're looking for tonight.
Can I follow up on that?
Sure, Joanne, go ahead.
You say it's a 3-year period, so we will be doing $34,550 for 26, 27, and 28 to make that $103,650, correct?
Correct.
Did you hear that, Joanne? She said correct.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I wondered what happened.
The work session this evening, the general budget, and this was not in the general budget. So I don't know whose question would go to Dave or to you. Which budget should we be putting this in so that we have this for the budget for 2026? This 34,550.
Right, so we, the finance director and I would need to take a look at that and figure out where we can accommodate it. If the pledge is made by council this evening, it would likely be in one of the capital projects or special projects fund, wherever we have fund balance that can fit that request in.
So there we do have the funds available to do this, you believe, correct?
I believe so, but I would like to confirm that with the finance director, just based on existing fund balance in some of those funds.
Okay. So we can make this a contingent motion when we get to that point? Based on that, basically?
I probably we're looking at the bulk water fund for this.
No, Doug, we're not.
No, okay. But I think, Joanne, we can just, I'm confident that Dave and Lori will find the 34 plus money. So I don't want to do a contingency. I want to just pass it and be done with it.
I'll second Brackville.
Are you going to give an exact total, or do we have it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to pledge what they're asking us to help them with.
Okay.
550. 34,550 over per year for 3
34,550 per year for the next 3 years. Yes, okay. Yes, that's what we're motioning, Kent. I second it.
Cindy, so if you get these other grants, that would significantly change this?
It would proportionately based on your share.
Okay, okay.
And we'll be in touch on a frequent basis as we have those wins. I mean, we think that we've been very successful to date. We have no doubt that we're going to bring some more money to the table, but we can't guarantee anything.
Right, that's very exciting, and they're coming up soon, late 2025. so
Absolutely. We've got to put a shovel in the ground before the end of winter.
That would be very exciting.
One more. So can we be sure that you'll come back and give us updates periodically, you or me?
How often would you like those updates? We can do that. And if I may respond to Mr. Bernier's other question about how can you help. So the outstanding township who has yet to vote on this is Walker Township. So Walker Township, like the other municipalities, signed on to be a member of the Nittany Valley Joint Rec Authority in 2013. So although we presented to Walker Township at their last meeting, they did not want to act on it. They wanted to gather some more information, and then they will vote at their next meeting, which I understand is December 12th at 3:00 p.m. So it's on a Friday afternoon. And so, you know, I'm asking Walker Township residents, of which I know none of you are, but certainly other elected officials who have a vested interest in this project, perhaps, to reach out to Walker Township elected officials and let them know just how very important this is, not just for Bellefonte Borough, but for the broader Bellefonte community. I mean, our swim team members, our, you know, aquatic supporters, they don't just come from Bellefonte Borough or Spring Township, where the pool is actually located. They're from all over the broader Bellefonte area, and we have to help Walker Township supervisors understand that they are supporting their community members by continuing to support the project. Time is running out. Yeah, and so that's the problem, you know, not only does it delay, but the more expensive the project gets, the longer you wait, right? Thank you.
Cindy, I think Mary Ellen McBride came with you tonight. Mary Ellen, did you want to speak? You had signed up. Nothing like putting you on the
for you, but I
put you on the
So
spot.
I am actually on the commission, like the advisory committee for the Bellefonte Stingrays. My daughter's an amazing swimmer. We don't have a home pool. So currently for the fall season, we have nowhere to call home. For the summer, we still yet have no home. If we could get the pool open, we could start running home meets, and our team wouldn't have to travel as far, and it would just be amazing. Now, I am Walker Township, so I am coming from them also. Cindy asked me to help, and I'll be at their meeting as well, not just for the Bellefonte Stingrays, but for, our township as well. I'm hoping that I can get a huge support. I'm going to try, but that's the best I can do. I also wanted to open for myself. I work for the school district. I'm off all summer. What better place to work in the summertime would be the pool? So I want it for myself as well as everybody else. So, that's pretty much all I have to say. So.
Great. Thank you.
You're
very
welcome.
much. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we have a motion and a second on the table for, can you refresh my memory on what the total is? Thank you. $34,550 over the next 3 years to support the pool. Any other discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier? Yes. Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
And Ms. Tosti-Vasey?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next on current business, council chambers improvements. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the quote provided for tables and panels, please? Can I have a second, please?
I'll second Brackbill.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or questions on this?
I do. Sorry.
Please, no, you don't have to be sorry. Go right ahead.
It's a little sketchy to me, Randy, what you've provided with us, meaning that don't get me wrong, I appreciate all you have done to make this move forward. You and I arranged these tables to make this more compact so we could hear one another better, while we discussed the tables. The drawing that you gave us is very vague to me. It's difficult for me to see the configuration of the tables in the room and how the petitions would be arranged. I don't think they're wheeled, so I think it would be difficult to move them. And I want to see the room more versatile. I think there are tables other than rectangular tables that can configure into different arrangements for different meetings. And yes, they will be more expensive, but until we can afford tables on wheels and tables that can be configured into several different arrangements, I'm not in favor of this purchase right now. So that's just my opinion, and you can say, well, Doug, take over, you do it, but I've been to other conference rooms where the tables are shaped differently, where you can configure them into many different arrangements to suit different meetings. So today or this evening, I'm not going to support this.
Is that for both the tables and the freestanding?
I would, I appreciate you've dealt with this person for years, but I would like to see other vendors come in with a rendering of what the different configurations could be. Now, we may be spending thousands more, but I think in the long run, we need to have those options of not just a council setup.
Randy, I don't see the picture. Am I missing something? I don't see the pictures of the tables.
The tables were just stacked and around like this table right here.
Well, that's sort of what I'm referring to, Randy. When you say they're just stacked and they're around here, it's difficult for me to see that, meaning that typically in the past, when I've dealt with vendors, they will come in with a rendering of different options for room setup, and I didn't see that in your proposal. I appreciate all that you've done. It's just, I think we need a little more time.
You take it and work with it, because
Well, that's fine.
if this doesn't pass, I'm done.
Is there any other discussion on this? Okay, the motion is on the table to approve the quote provided for the tables and panels. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier?
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Clayton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
No.
Ms. McKean?
No.
Ms. Purnell?
No.
Ms. Sedgwick?
No.
And Ms. Tosti Vasey?
No.
Okay, thank you. That's 3 yeas and 6 nays. Motion fails.
Thank you. Next on the list, Armory Building front step improvements. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the quote provided by Gary Horner to repair the steps on the Spring Street side of the Armory Building? Thank you, Kent.
Second.
Thank you, Doug. Questions or discussion?
What exactly are they doing? It says patch steps. Is that accurate? I mean, are they?
We're trying to fill the gaps that are out there right now for the winter.
Okay.
And then we'll, towards spring, we'll hopefully be able to get somebody in here to actually fix them.
Okay, so this is just a temporary fix then?
Temporary set, yeah.
What we're trying to do, Rita, is we're trying to prevent more water infiltration.
Hang on a minute, Joanne, please.
Throughout the winter to create more damage. And Gary Horner has agreed to do that for $650. And during our work session, they're going to need a complete rebuild. So this, hopefully this will preserve some of the damage.
That makes sense. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I have a question. This patch or repair, what materials will they be using? I'm going back to what Doug just said, and if it's concrete or something like that, we could end up making more damage to this granite. Or is it something that's a soft thing that will just fill the hole until we get a more permanent patch?
From what I understand, it was going to be some concrete that just goes in and plugs up the areas at the base of each step. That'll keep the water from going in and preventing other waters moving things out from underneath it. And then in the spring, we can fix it.
The concern I have with that is that concrete is a very hard material, and granite is much softer than concrete, and I think it will do more damage than it will save the steps.
If you fill them with a caulking, Joanne, it's difficult to clear the cement caulking out to redo the steps, and the suggestion was to use cement, which is not as impervious to water. This is not a permanent fix.
Is there any other discussion or questions? Can we have a roll call vote to approve the quote provided by Gary Horner to repair the steps on the Spring Street side of the Armory Building, please?
Mr. Bernier? Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Clayton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey?
No.
Okay, thank you.
We have in our packet the 2025 goals update for November. No council action is requested with this.
I have a question with this. We're supposed to see this on every packet, and we don't. It's supposed to be in the packet when it comes to us. And we're not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Is anybody else there seeing it?
It was in the full year.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Yes.
we did. I think that's usually in there, but now we're doing it month by month with, I believe you're doing this, most of it, and updating the goals.
Correct, yeah, it may have missed an agenda or two, but we made some updates and added a little narrative to it, so we'll make sure that that gets in the future packets going forward.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. There's quite a bit on here. Okay. Anything else for the goals? The next 3 items that we have were all placed on the table before. I just want to remind you that to take these off the table, if that's what council decides to do. One member can make the motion to remove that from the table. It must be seconded, and then we do a roll call vote on that. So the first one, council may consider joining the Pennsylvania Municipal League and allocate funds in the 2026 budget for the membership fee. Member benefit information has been provided in the packet. If we don't get the motion in the second to remove it from the table, then this goes away. So do I have a motion and a second to remove this from the table?
So moved.
Is there a second? The motion fails. Moving on to exception to section 4043 of the Center Region Building Safety and Property Maintenance Code for 107 South Ridge Street. Again, same thing. I would need a motion and a second to remove this from the table. Thank you.
Second, Johnson.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier?
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey?
No.
Could I have a motion and a second to direct staff to advertise for Chapter 425 Ordinance Amendment? Thank you.
Second, Johnson.
Thank you. We're now open for discussion. Before we have discussion, I have invited Mr. Schneider to give us a little bit of information on this, if you would, please.
Good evening. I'm Walt Schneider. I'm the Agency Director for Center Region Code Administration and your building code official. The section in question that you are discussing and entertaining, possibly amending, is a section based on a minimum ceiling height of 7 feet in rental housing. This doesn't have any effect on single-family owner-occupied homes. This is strictly for rental housing. The minimum height of 7 feet is a national standard. It has been in the code since you adopted it and is there for predominantly 2 reasons based on my research over the course of a number of years where this has been brought into question and discussed, not just in Bellefonte Borough, but other municipalities that we serve. The 2 reasons really come to 2 things. One is light narrowness, which leads for mental health. So lower ceiling heights create a more claustrophobic and more dark atmosphere and have a degradation of mental health. And so in rental housing, to have a higher ceiling and have a better environment for somebody to live in is something that is important, especially as mental health becomes more and more critical in society today. The second reason is fire safety. So when the contents of the building, and it's not the physical building itself, but it's the contents of the room burn, they off-gas and provide smoke as well as toxic gases into the atmosphere. Those toxic gases are more and more prevalent based on modern furnishings, and when you look at modern furnishings, we're talking about the foam in the cushions in your couch, in your chairs, the TV, all of the synthetics that exist in our rooms today. And those synthetics give off greater amounts of toxic gases, and those toxic gases, as the room burns and the material in the room burns, push down towards the floor. The height of 7 feet has been, again, it's a national standard, but is there to provide the opportunity for the occupants in the room to be able to crawl out of the room prior to that smoke plume pushing down and potentially killing the occupants of the room based on smoke inhalation. So the idea of removing that height limitation and pushing it down farther creates an area that is smaller for that plume to develop and reduces the amount of time for the occupant to be able to get out of the room safely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Schneider?
I have a question. In the letter that the residents sent to us, they said that Harris Township adopted an ordinance which exempts structures built prior to 1996. Is that true?
Correct, and that's because of Harris Township, when they adopted the rental housing code originally, had felt that based on the date that they started using the rental housing code, that they would exempt structures prior to that, and it was a decision they made.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Walt, for sharing that very important safety information with us. When Harris Township is cited as an example of making an exemption to this code, we need to take another look at what's going on. Harris Township has a 20% rental rate in their municipality. Bellefonte has a 51% rental rate in our municipality. That makes a huge difference. And if we were to amend this code, it would mean that every residential property in the borough would be eligible to be a rental. And right now, we're at a threshold where increasing the number of rental properties could be problematic. Right now, I think we have the second highest rental rate in the county.
Thank you, Debbie. Is there anyone else in the audience that wanted to speak on this topic?
Well, I have a question. So if this remains a family home, that's it's proper?
Yep.
Okay.
Just for rentals.
Are we ready for council comments, or are we still doing?
I believe we're ready for council comments, Joanne.
Okay. I think this property isn't rental, and as Walt said, that this only affects rental properties. Because homeowners know what their house is like, and they're more easily able to deal with this should a fire occur. People who rent a home are more transient, come and go, and they may not know where things are and how to escape easily. And then what Deb said, we are at 51% renter occupied housing here in Bellefonte. And I believe that, by the way, those numbers come from the 2023 American Community Survey, 5-year estimates. with a taller ceiling, especially if it has fewer bottom furnishings made of synthetic material. All of our members have time to escape should a fire occur. I will look now, and we can, and just FYI, we cannot make one exception for one property in the borough. That's called a spot zone, and that is illegal. So it either has to be everybody or no change. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Is there anybody else on council? Okay, the motion is to direct staff to advertise for Chapter 425 ordinance amendment. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier?
Yes.
Mr. Brackville?
No.
Ms. Cleaton? No. Ms. Dan?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
No.
Ms. McKean?
No.
Ms. Purnell?
No.
Ms. Sedgwick?
No.
Ms. Tosti Vasey?
No.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is a demolition permit application requested by Bellefonte Area School District for the Beaver Farmhouse at 1002 Airport Road. Could I have a motion and a second to remove this from the table? Thank you, Kent. Thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier?
Yes.
Mr. Brackville?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the demolition of the Beaver Farmhouse at 1002 Airport Road requested by the Bellefonte Area School District? Thank you.
I'll
Is there a
second it, Cleaton.
Thank you. First, we will ask for public comment. Dr. Roy, would like you to go first, please. Thank you for being here. Ms. Doherty will be running our timer for 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. Roy Rexowski, Superintendent of the Bellefonte Area School District. To the Bellefonte Borough Council, on behalf of the Bellefonte Area School District, I'd like to formally state our position and request the approval of our pending permit to demolish the farmhouse structure located on district property. This decision was not made lightly, but it is driven by our core mission and our duty as stewards of taxpayer funds. The district's primary obligation is to our students and community. Every dollar we spend must be justifiable in its support of our educational program. The farmhouse is not part of our educational program. We have a long list of deferred maintenance projects and buildings currently used that are prioritized in our facilities plan. Our funds must be dedicated to these active facilities. We cannot afford to renovate a farmhouse we don't need. The district is not and cannot be in the business of historical preservation. The farmhouse in its current state is an active and growing liability. The building costs the district's $2,100 per year in insurance premiums alone. The structure has no power, no water, and no sewer. Any effort to secure it, such as adding surveillance cameras, would require costly new utility runs. The district is facing potential fines from the borough of $300 to $1,000 per day. It is an untenable position to be fined for a structure the borough will not permit us to demolish. Donating the house and land is not a feasible option. The location of the farmhouse is not surplus land. It is critical for the district's site management as the location is designed as our stormwater basin. This site is essential for managing significant water runoff from the surrounding area. After much careful consideration, we see demolition as our only viable option. That said, we are sensitive to the building's history, and we are willing to work with the community to the extent possible. To that end, we are willing to repurpose materials from the house to build a memorial wall, a walking path, or some other feature with a plaque commemorating the farmhouse. In closing, we urge the council to approve the permit. This action will allow us to redirect all related costs back into our educational budget, eliminate the threat of daily fines, and proceed with our necessary stormwater management plan, while fully committing to the mission and purpose of our existence, to promote effective teaching and learning. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
So what do you mean mindful? What's the kind of finding for things to happen?
Because it's not meeting code requirements currently.
Any specifics that it's just saying in the code? What specifically is wrong with those in the finding?
I know that our Director of Fiscal Affairs has received a letter stating some specific conditions, ranging from leaks in the house, windows that need to be repaired, peeled paint that needs to be redone, weeds that need to be removed. It's not weatherproof at this time.
Thank you. I'll remind council that we're not to do crosstalk at this point, but thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Joseph Griffin.
Supposed to state my, my name and my address. It's Joseph Griffin, 133 North Spring Street. I live in Bellefonte.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Good evening. Let me begin by thanking the borough for its very existence. Some of us chafe under the laws and regulations that restrict our freedom of action. I know I do. However, the hand of government keeps us safe and often ensures that an important action is duly considered by more people than just the intended actor. The requirement for a demolition permit is what gave those of us who treasure an old building a chance to voice their opinion here, tonight. Earlier today, I spoke with Frank Grumbine at PHMC. He's the Community Preservation Coordinator for the Central Region of Pennsylvania, and he reviews development plans at the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission, and he's familiar with the plans for our new elementary school. Frank told me that the Beaver Farmhouse is not included within the limits of disturbance on that plan that was filed, meaning that in order to demolish it, the district must file a revised development plan with PHMC review. Of course, destroying the farmhouse might generate concern at PHMC. That's a bureaucratic issue. I don't plan to plead my cause on the field of bureaucracy. There are other good reasons for sparing the old farmhouse, at least for a little while. The people of Bellefonte want it preserved. The Tor Michael Show put up a Facebook poll on whether the building should be demolished. I looked at it tonight and it had 136 comments. It's running 20 to 1 in favor of preserving the farmhouse. BHCA has received 3 pledges of $1,000 today to preserve the building, and we haven't even asked for money. Counting Congressman Thompson's offer of support, these 3 pledges and Bellefonte Building Supplies offer to secure the building, putting plywood over the windows and tidying it up, the community is already offering more money to save the building than it will cost the district to demolish it. Mr. Grumbine at PHMC guessed that the farmhouse was built around 1810 or 1820, based on the photos he has on hand. Mindy Crawford of Preservation, Pennsylvania, thought it was older, perhaps 18th century. Phil Ruth has determined that the tract of land where the farmhouse stands today was acquired by John Dunlop around 1808. Let's just say that it is a venerable structure and may be connected to people of local importance. BHCA has suggested several ways to allow the
Mr. Griffin,
farmhouse's
you have 30 seconds.
continued existence for use as an educational resource, imposing no financial requirements on the district whatsoever, and I don't have time to read them. BHCA is willing to coordinate a fundraising effort to secure the building necessary to implement any necessary preservation. Proper consideration of alternatives to demolition requires time, so we formally request a 1-year stay of demolition to give us time to figure out what to do. During this period, the building can be secured, evaluated, options for its reuse considered, and the necessary fundraising undertaken. We can save this building, and it won't cost the district a dime if we do it the right way.
Mr. Griffin, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tim Gardner.
I just have 2 questions. One, if it's not in the original plan, why demolition it? And 2, it's a piece of history. why can't you use it for a history lesson in our school district? That's all I got to ask.
Thank you. Sadie Belsky.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you all again. I apologize if I speak quick. This should take me exactly 3 minutes. My name is Sadie Belsky, and I'm a district graduate and current Penn State architecture student, and I'm here to urge you all to deny the school board's request for a demolition permit. Tonight, much of the historical significance will be covered, so I'm here to talk about the extraordinary opportunity we have with the Beaver Farmhouse. This building is not just history, it's a learning tool across disciplines. Agriculture students can learn from farm-to-table systems and sustainable food production. History students can explore Pennsylvania's agricultural heritage. Science classes can study soil composition, water systems, and climate science. Math students can calculate structural loads. Art students can document traditional craftsmanship. The traditional limestone construction, timber framing, and joinery techniques aren't just historic curiosities. They are time-tested building practices that modern sustainable architecture is actually rediscovering. Mike and Portman has already established collaborations with multiple Penn State departments. We could expand this to include CPI, bring in students learning masonry, carpentry, HVAC, electrical work. It could become a real-world training site where high school students, technical students, and university researchers can all learn together. From an environmental standpoint, adaptive reuse is far superior to demolition. This farmhouse represents embodied energy, all the resources, labor, and materials invested in its construction. Tearing it down wastes that energy, sends tons of debris into landfills, and requires extracting virgin materials for new construction. Limestone is incredibly durable. It's why buildings last centuries. Restoration preserves that investment and dramatically reduces the carbon footprint. Yes, the building needs work. That's why we're proposing renovation, not immediate occupancy in its current state. Mikan was explicitly told by current administration members she could pursue non-matching grants for this project. Now, after securing funding, developing plans and ideas, we're calling it a liability. Projects like these are succeeding across the U.S. Historic farmhouses are becoming educational centers, community kitchens, and sustainability demonstrations. Adaptive reuse creates spaces with character, purpose, and educational value that the new construction cannot match. Bellefonte has a chance to be an innovator, show that the rural community can lead in sustainability and education and historic preservation. This farmhouse can become a model that other districts visit to learn from, putting Bellefonte on the map as a community that values both heritage and the future. Every concern raised has a cost-effective solution.
You have 30 seconds
What
remaining.
isn't solvable is demolishing an irreplaceable structure. Once it's gone forever. We have a solution, we have funding, we have community support, and we have a comprehensive vision. What we need is permission to move forward. I urge you to deny this demolition permit. Let's show what Bellefonte can do when we choose innovation over demolition and leadership over the easy path. Thank you on behalf of everyone here tonight for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Sadie. Ryan Smith. No comment? Okay, thank you. Matt Maris.
Hello, good evening. I'm Matt Maris, 358 Leap Street, Bellefonte. I was going to talk about the history, but I feel like I don't really need to cover that. It's certainly historic, but I do support more time so historical experts can provide clarity and architectural experts can provide some clarity. We certainly know it's historic. Like I said before, it's older than many of the historic sites we cherish in Bellefonte, like this building, like the Reynolds Mansion, like Our Fair Lady, a lot of things we cherish, even the Brockerhoff building. But anyways, alternative solutions, I don't know what the right answer is to this. That's why we work together as a community to solve these issues. Just historically speaking is my perspective right now, to just make sure we have enough time to really consider our options. What are the alternative options? I certainly don't want millions of dollars to be burdened on the school board or the school district or our kids, but what if there's some cheaper solutions that maybe we can find some creative solutions to? And I don't have all the answers to that, but certainly there could be some options if we have more time. So that's what I recommend. I think about the Gamble Mill in the 70s. It was the same repair or demolish situation, and it caused the community to rally around and to consider their values. And it was bleak. There was problems with the Gamble Mill, and there was some good arguments for tearing it down. But look at it today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is Mike Empoorman here tonight? Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Schneider, we would like you to weigh in on this, if you would, please.
Again, Walter Schneider, I'm your building code official. I am the one that oversaw the writing of the violation notices regarding the structure and the requirements that are being imposed on the structure by the Center Region Code Administration on your behalf is to make the structure weather tight and to weather in the structure so that the structure has continued life and is not demolished by neglect. We have required and have stated directly to the borough's folks as well, letting them know that this is going on, and have spoken with representatives of the school district and specifically have said, we're not requiring the building to be brought up to code for occupancy. We're specifically requiring the building be weathered in. Basically, board up any windows that have been broken, patch any open spaces where animals can get into the building and use it for rodent harborage. If needed, put a coat of paint on places that are not weather tight again. We've not even indicated requirements for using mortar to close in gaps in stone or in any kind of mortar places where we have problems. We've said that, look, you can use pack oakum into those temporarily. The goal is to maintain the building weather tight so that the building doesn't continue to deteriorate beyond the point where it is now. Beyond that, what its future is really up to Borough Council as far as if you allow or don't allow the building to be removed. But if the building exists, our charge by you is to make those buildings weather tight and make sure that they do not deteriorate beyond their current condition.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, council, we have a motion and a second to approve the demolition of the Beaver Farmhouse. I'd like to hear more discussion if you would like.
I would like to amend that motion to stay the demolition for 1 year to determine ways to save the building and then bring it back up in 1 year for reconsideration for recommendations based on what the community and nonprofits find for the saving of this building.
Is there anyone that would like to second that?
I'll second it, Brockville.
Yes, we will be voting on the amendment. Is there any other discussion?
I have a question on the amendment. So if I vote no on the amendment, then the original motion comes back on the table? Is that correct? Okay, so a no vote means that the amendment doesn't pass, and then we vote on the original motion.
That is correct.
Okay.
Anyone else? So, Joanne, do you want to restate your amendment, please?
Okay. A motion to stay the demolition for 1 year to allow nonprofits and community interested individuals to look for ways to save the rehab the building, including the building that's involved free by a Bellefonte Building Supply, to bring back that
So
Ms.
So I have a question, Joanne, and others. So if your motion fails, and we revote on the original motion, and we decide not to demolish it, that should be the same thing as what she's implying, except there's no deadline.
That's correct.
Am I
Yes.
clear on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions on that? Could we have a roll call vote on the amendment that Joanne suggested, please?
Mr. Bernier? No. Mr. Brackbill?
No.
Ms. Cleaton? No. Ms. Dan?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
No.
Ms. McKean?
No.
Ms. Purnell?
No.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey?
Yes.
Okay, that's 7 noes and 2 yes. Fails.
So we will move on to the original motion and a second to approve the demolition of the Beaver Farmhouse at 1002 Airport Road as requested by the Bellefonte Area School District. We've already done the motion and the second. Is there any other discussion on this before we vote?
Yes. Should I go with somebody else? I can't tell from you.
What do you mean? Do you have something else you want to discuss on the original motion, Joanne?
Yes, I'm opposing the main motion. This house is a historic abandoned farmhouse, most likely built in the early 1800s, making it one of the oldest structures in Belmont. This house is a type of historic structure that is often overlooked for its historic value. In this country, we frequently honor major structures, but forget about the real people who live and made our communities run and thrive. Yes, it is outside the historic district, but it has cultural, historical, educational, and sustainability value. As I already stated, these types of historic properties tell the stories of our often overlooked laborers, creating a cooler picture of our past. By preserving the laborers' home, we are helping foster a sense of identity for all citizens in our community, not just the well-to-do, and helping pass our history down to future generations. It is already providing education to our youth through programs led by teachers and students, and they help procure some plans and grants to transform this building into a green classroom and farm to take the learning up. I believe it should continue. They already have offers to save and rehabilitate these farmhouses we've heard earlier on the public comments. I have noticed that aside from the school board, we have not received a single piece of correspondence in support of demolishing this building. Demolishing a tenant farmhouse diminishes our history. Demolishing it diminishes our educational possibilities. Demolishing it diminishes our community. Making a friendly memorial wall is still demolishing. We here at the borough, with the assistance of former Senator Jay Corman, adapted to reuse the building that you all are currently sitting in this evening. The same can be done for this tenant farmhouse. I'm sure that the necessary funds can be raised to save, and I will therefore vote no on this motion this evening.
Thank you, Joanne. On council, is there anyone else that would like to weigh in?
I couldn't agree with her more.
Oh, yes, please, go right ahead.
Sorry. As a student, I do believe that there is educational, that there could be educational prosperity through keeping this building. I think that alongside agriculture students, I think that science students, math students, art students could all learn something important from this building, including history students could learn something important from this building. So I would like to weigh in as a student and say no to the demolition.
Thank you, Ms. Meckley.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I received a note from a council member who asked me to read this, so I will go ahead and do that. We as council members are elected by the citizens of this borough to represent their concerns and make the best decisions possible on their behalf. Considering that our borough is known by the name Historic Bellefonte, as can be seen in the logo behind us, how can we explain to our residents that we voted to demolish this obviously historic property, especially since there are parties interested in its preservation and willing to donate time, money, and services to do so? It appears at this point it could cost the district and ultimately Bellefonte Area School District taxpayers nothing to preserve it, but $12,008 to demolish it. If the district does not have the time, interest, or desire to be involved in the restoration, then perhaps they could lease or sell the farmhouse and surrounding grounds to a party who has the interest in the project. I would also like to add comments of my own. I would hate to see this amazing building be destroyed. I have learned so much through the past couple of weeks just reading about it and learning about it. And I will also be voting no to have it demolished. Is there anyone else that would like to talk? Great, we have the motion second to approve the demolition of the Beaver Farmhouse at 1002 Airport Road as requested by the Bellefonte Area School District. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier? Yes. Mr. Brackbill?
No.
Ms. Cleaton? No. Ms. Dan?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
No.
Ms. McKean?
No.
Ms. Purnell?
No.
Ms. Sedgwick?
No.
Ms. Tosti-Vasey?
No.
I think that was a no.
Motion fails.
Thank you. We will move on to new business. Lamb McErlin, PC, engagement letter to retain Christopher Gerber as special counsel with respect to labor and employment matters for the Bellefonte Borough Police Department. Can I have a motion and a second to accept the engagement letter from Lamb McErlin, PC, to retain Christopher Gerber as special counsel with respect to labor and employment matters for the Bellefonte Borough Police Department?
So moved. Brackbill.
Second, Cleaton?
Thank you. Is there discussion on this? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bernier? Yes. Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti-Vasey?
Yes.
Thank you.
We received a list of items to be auctioned on Municipid. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the provided list to be auctioned at Municipid, please?
So moved, Cleaton.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Could we have a roll call vote, please? Oh, I'm sorry, Joan. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, just for the public's purpose, there are two items on the list. There's a bucket truck and a police car.
Thank you. Could we have our vote, please?
Mr. Bernier? Yes. Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Cleaton? Yes. Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKean?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
And Ms. Tosti-Vasey?
Yes.
Thank you.
The last day for brush grass curbside pickup will be on Wednesday, November 19th. The final Saturday opening of the Borough Compost Facility on Musser Lane will be Saturday, November 22nd. Borough offices will be closed on Thursday, November 27th for Thanksgiving. At the Bellefonte Borough Council meeting held on January 20th, 2025, Council approved the courtesy parking program for the 2025 holiday season. Under this program, the first time the parking enforcement officer observes a vehicle with no time on the meter, the officer will issue a complimentary 2-hour pass. On the officer's second pass-through that same day, if no time remains on the meter and the 2 hours have expired, a parking ticket will be issued. Courtesy parking begins on Thursday, November 27th, 2025, on Thanksgiving Day, and continues through Thursday, January 1st, 2026, on New Year's Day. We encourage everyone to take advantage of this opportunity to do some holiday shopping in beautiful downtown Bellefonte and have a happy holiday season. Is there any public comment on anything not that is not on the agenda. Okay, if we can have council members' comments for the good of the order. Mr. Bernier. Thank you. Ms. McKean. Ms. Sedgwick.
If you didn't see Jalen on stage last weekend, you missed out. She's a fantastic actress. The drama club did a fantastic job with their play that goes wrong. And they'll be mid-April doing The Drowsy Chaperone, so you might be able to get to see her again. But
Sounds like
definitely
fun.
take advantage of the arts in your community.
Thank you. Doug.
I know you made the announcement about the last brushing grass pickup and the Saturday opening at Musser Lane. I believe during the week that it still will be open from like 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. if residents choose to take their yard waste there on their own. So, but you're right, it won't be open Saturday morning like it usually is, but during the week, I believe it still will be accessible for brushing, grass depositing.
Great, thank you very much for that, Doug. Mr. Provolga. Ms. Clayton.
Yes, I'm just anxious to see how this beaver farm project progresses. I think it's very exciting, and there's a lot of opportunity there.
Mr. Mayor.
I do not, thank you.
Randy?
I have nothing.
Ms. Mick?
Nothing, thank you so much.
Ms. Purnell?
I have a question and then a comment. You mentioned brush and that kind of stuff pickup, but what about leaves? Is that the same also?
Leaves, they continue to vacuum up. It's pretty much observing what's left on the streets. At least, David, it's been in the past that way. Most of the time, it's the first or second week in December, weather permitting. But as long as there's leaves falling and along the street, I'm pretty sure Matt assigns the crew to go after them.
Okay, so that was the question. And then as a comment, a while ago, I had suggested, and this one's when Ralph was still here, about possibly highlighting businesses in town during our meetings. And I've noticed recently that I believe, and maybe I'm not very observant, but we have a few new businesses on Allegheny Street. The one that I noticed was Smith and Front, which I believe is like a plant store. I haven't been in it, and I also noticed there's like a bookstore, I think, a couple doors down. And I'm wondering if that might be something that we might consider doing, is maybe pick a business a week and just maybe have them come in and introduce themselves. It might help their businesses. It would help us know what's downtown.
That's a
Anyway,
great
food for thought.
idea, Rita. Thank you for that. We'll follow up on that. Thank you.
Could I just add that the business that you're referring to is Smith and Font, and they were located in the Gamble Mill and now has moved to Allegheny Street. Yeah.
I have one thing. I wanted to say thank you to Matt Almond, Chief Whitmer, and the Streets Committee, Doug Johnson. And Doug, I neglected to list who else was on the Streets Committee. There were signs put up on High Street that state cross-traffic does not stop, which will also help at that intersection. So I appreciate everybody hearing that and taking care of it. And please be careful on all the streets, but that one is particularly difficult sometimes. So thank you very much.
Or I do have something, I've had it upside down here. Spring Creek Water Cleanup, Sunday, November 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Millbrook March Nature Center at 548 Puddintown Road in State College, PA. Includes hot coffee, donuts, and instructional demonstrations about trout reds. It's a rain and shine event. Waterproof boots and waders are recommended, and pack water, snacks, and lunch if needed.
Great. Randy, is that something that would be good to put on the website?
Sure.
If we can do that, I would appreciate that. Okay, could I have a motion and a second? No. How could I forget? Oh, go right ahead, Joanne. Aren't you tired?
Williamson of Center County Transportation Office, they need more drivers. He asked if we could announce these job openings this evening. I believe that most of these jobs are part-time, but there may be some full-time positions. That may know a little more about this. Drivers will be handling the paratransit vans and/or the vans for the Meals on Wheels program. If you're interested, please call the Center County Transportation Office at 814-355-6807 or email Dave Lomason at dwlomason, that's LOMISON, at centercountypa.gov for more information on how to apply. Second, real quick, I'm attending 2 meetings this week. One's the Right Electric PA tomorrow, and the second one is the Springfield Watershed Atlas meeting on Thursday. And finally, my next door neighbor contacted me a couple of days ago. He said that the contractors that redid the gas lines on the roads of Wilson, Lynn, and Spring said that they would only be repairing the patches, car patches, the hot patches. This leaves bumps and potential places for potholes throughout the borough. I thought that when the other gas lines were put in on the other street, particularly Lynn Street, Burton Street, that Columbia Gas went back and repaved the roads that they messed up. What is going to be happening with Wilson, Lynn, and Spring with the gas line repairs?
Lynn Street is scheduled to be repaved in the spring of 2026, and I would assume the others will be as well. But I'm sure about Lynn Street. We talked about that at the Streets Committee meeting. We didn't touch on Wilson. I'm not sure about Wilson. What was the other one, Joanne? Spring?
Spring.
Oh, is that North Spring or South?
Spring was down between Kirkland and Lynn.
Oh, that's where you live. That's the lowest priority. That's where you live. That's the lowest priority on the streets. No, I believe I recall Matt saying that would be included as well, Joanne, in the springtime. But I will definitely check on that for you. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Doug. Let's try this again. Can I have a motion and a second to adjourn, please?
So moved, Brackbill.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?